Find out when it is.
Just having a conversation that seems almost unreal that here we are talking about Clemson's second straight year in the college football playoff. From a coaching perspective, did you see this coming?
Well, I don't know if I saw two, playoff appearances 2 years in a row, if that specifically, but I would definitely say, that being here with Coach Sweeney from the very beginning, on his interim staff in 2008, and really just the momentum that we've been able to build over the last few years, really felt like our best days were ahead of us, and it's great to be in this position, and there's a lot of things have to happen to be able to be in this position, and obviously you got to play well, and but you also got to have a few breaks go your way at times to be able to get here, and so it's definitely a blessing for us as coaches, players, and university to be on that national stage and get another opportunity.
Obviously, you spend a lot of time with the wideouts. Explain the relationship Deshaun has with almost every one of them. There's an individual greeting before practice that they do. He works, individually with them when no one else is around. Just how he has a relationship with each one of them by themselves.
Yeah, well, number one, it's always an important relationship between your quarterback and receivers. But I think Deshaun, just who he is, he's got a great relationship with those guys. I mean, they spend, we all watch them out here on the fields on game day, but what we don't see is in the off season, January, February, March, all the way through the summer, just the countless hours that those guys are out here on their own, throwing and catching and creating that chemistry. You don't get chemistry just during a game week leading up to a game. You get it year round, and Deshaun's done a great job of developing relationships with those guys. And they spend a lot of time off the field together as well. I mean, I think, we joke that Artavis and Deshaun really haven't left each other's side since they got here 3 years ago. And so it's definitely a special relationship those guys have.
Coach, in terms of Mike Williams and how he had to claw back, what did you see that he did to get back into not just be the guy he was the year before he got injured, but even better?
Yeah, I'm not surprised about that with Mike at all. I know, after a couple months after the injury, he kind of had time to figure it all out and knew that he was going to be out, for an extended period of time. You could just tell that, he already had that mindset that I want to come back stronger than I was before. And, and that's exactly what he's done. He's had to work. And, part of it was frustrating for him for the first 3 or 4 months with the injury because he really was not allowed to do a whole lot. And as a competitor, you want to get out there and, if it's an ACL, you're able to do your rehab every day and feel like you're making progress. But with his situation, really, he just had to sit there and keep a neck brace on for a long time. And then when he finally was cleared and able to come back this spring, he went right back to work. And I give him credit. He's had to go earn everything, that he's been able to accomplish through the way that he's worked and his mentality, his consistent effort every day. He's not one of these guys that feels like he's arrived and that he has all the answers and that he can't improve. He knows that every day he's got to show up to work, and that's one of the reasons he is where he is now.
Coach, when you look at Ohio State and specifically their back seven, what do you see? What stands out when you flip on the tape?
Speed. That's the first thing that stands out is all those guys can run. I think that's probably the biggest difference from where they were when we played them a few years ago to where they are now is just the team speed, and then specifically the back end speed. I mean, all those guys in the secondary, very athletic, long, run really well, and then they've got great ball skills. That's another thing that stands out, and we've made some points to our wideouts and obviously Deshaun is these guys. They've got great hands. They catch some of the most impressive plays that they've made. Have been some unbelievable interceptions, and it really looks like a wide receiver going up to attack a ball or catching a ball with one hand. And so very athletic and not a lot of room for error. So just makes the little things become even that much more important with releases and being able to hold the line and whenever getting vertical and doing all those type of things. If you have poor fundamentals against a group like this, it'll show up in a hurry.
You
Does
put
number
together
24 jump out at you especially?
Yeah.
Is it hard to believe he's a first-year starter?
Yeah, it is. He's a guy that you recognize really quickly on video. You know, I pointed out several times where he's running past, 3 other teammates to get to the ball carrier, and he's violent whenever he gets there. He's a great player and one that, the quarterback and other guys have to know where he is at all times and be sure that we don't give him any easy plays, because he's one that can get there and definitely make them.
When you put together a game plan, you want to exploit the weakness in the defense. But I'm guessing when you watch tape, not a lot of weakness that you see there.
Yeah, I mean, when you get to this point of the season and you make the playoff, I mean, all these guys, I mean, I think they're top 5 in total defense, top 5 in scoring defense. So, I mean, they're playing at an extremely high level. And really it comes down to the matchups. Well, that's really, this time of year, it comes down to the matchups at every position and being able to win your matchup. And, they're going to win some of their matchups. We're going to win some of our matchups. It's just who consistently can execute and move the football. And, our guys look forward to that. They look forward to challenges like this. This will be one of the best defenses, if not the best defense that we've played all year, and we've played some pretty good ones. And so, yes, it is a challenge, but one our guys are excited about having an opportunity to see how they match up against this type of defense.
You guys recruited Raekwon McMillan and also Michael Hill over from Pendleton. What can you say about those 2 players and what you know about them boys?
Yeah, I know a lot about Raekwon. I recruited him starting his freshman year. I believe I went to his high school 17 times throughout the recruiting process from his 9th grade to his senior year. And, he's a great player and a great young man. I knew whenever he was in high school that he was going to be a special player. And, I believe we came in second right there to Ohio State. And it'll be good to see him, before or after the game sometime during the week. Just to say hello again, but he's got great instincts. He knows where the ball's going. He does a great job of reading the guards and reading the keys, and he's always in good position to make plays. And then the Hill kid right here, local product, and he's done a good job for them this year. I think he's played a good bit and does a good job up front, and they're very talented up front as well.
Yeah, they roll up quite a few guys through there and stuff. Does that show up on video too? I mean, their freshness, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it does. Very few people have the luxury to be able to roll guys up front. We've been fortunate here with our depth of defensive line to be able to do that, and we've been able to see the type of advantage that can bring. And you like it offensively when they're not rolling a lot of guys on defense, because you can really wear them down with their tempo. But they have a lot of guys, and so it just you got to make sure your offensive line, those guys are targeting their guys, because they're going to have fresh guys coming on 3rd down. They'll bring some of their defensive ends and put them inside and try to get some matchups with your centers and guards. So they do a great job with their personnel.
I was going to say, last time y'all played, they had a 97 named Bosa. now they have a 97 named Bosa. Is that how odd is that? And how does he show up on video? I mean, he's a freshman, just like his brother was 3 years ago.
You can tell he's going to be a very talented player, and he's gotten better as the year has come on, and they've played him a lot more as the year's gone on. And he's a guy that they'll move inside on 3rd down and can create a lot of havoc there inside, and there's no question he's a talented player. And you do have to kind of do a double take whenever you go back and watch our game with them a few years back and then watching this game. They're very similar type players, other than just the number and the name on the back of the jersey.
As opposed to Oklahoma and Alabama last year, not having Mike or Dion, what does that do for the game plan? What you guys can do offensively here?
Yeah, obviously, both of those guys have been big weapons for us this year, and really it allows you, whenever you get into some of those one-on-one matchups, to have some of the best guys in the country to go throw it to, and and it creates issues for the defense trying to figure out how they're going to play you, whether they want to play man or zone. But they got really good corners over there, just like how proud we are of some of the our top receivers. They got some very talented corners that they feel very confident in, and so it'll be just another one of the matchups that will be very key to the game on both sides. But there's no doubt, we're very excited to have Mike and Dion join into this playoff. where we were not in that position last year.
Did it take a little while to figure out exactly how to fit Mike back into the offense? Not that he was, slow to catch on, but just because you've got so many weapons there, and he wasn't a part of the team's offensive scheme the year before.
Not really. I mean, I think that's really where we feel our most comfortable. We've got a guy like Mike over there in the boundary, and I mean, it was pretty easy. I mean, I think for us in the springtime, we just wanted to be really careful about how quickly we, how much we were using him, and kind of go slow with it, and then also kind of see, this year going in right away in the Auburn game, that was going to be a big matchup for us, and he did a good job and came right back. But there's no doubt we're definitely playing at our best when we got a guy like Mike in the boundary.
The way that other guys kind of adjusted to having him there, though, I mean, it certainly meant less targets for a guy like Artavis and stuff like that, that they adjusted well to having that additional playmaker put back on there.
And it helps them as well, because there's a very talented guy on the other side that defenses have to try to figure out a way to keep extra eyes on, and so it opens up some other guys in situations. But yeah, there's no doubt we knew going into this season we were going to have a lot more playmakers than we were going to have footballs. But beginning of the year, in kind of our offensive meetings as we sit down and talk philosophy and talked our goals for the year and all that, everybody agreed that the number one goal was to have a chance to play for it all and to win it all, and everybody was been committed to that, and really had very few issues, if any, all year on guys worried about how many touches and those type of things. And I think it's pretty special. A guy like Artavis Scott, is one catch away from breaking the Clemson record for most catches in a career by a Clemson receiver, and he's doing it in 3 years. That's pretty impressive. So I think our guys, they were definitely excited to get Mike back because they knew what it was going to bring to our offense and to our team.
Mike seems to have and Leggett too, seem to understand their big guys too, and they know how to use that. Did that come naturally with him, or is that something he's developed since he's been here?
That's something that Mike's had to develop, and he was 180 pounds when he got here, and played a lot of basketball growing up. Didn't really lift weights in the weight room, and and that was part of the deal to him is, hey, this is who you're going to be at the next level. They're going to count on you being a one-on-one physical guy. And I think the transition between last year and this year, he went from 205 to 225. And then not only to put on that weight, but how he was able to use that weight. And I think that's shown up this year. He's played really big. I mean, I go back to ACC championship game. Those are some of the biggest corners that we've ever gone against since I've been at Clemson. Big, physical, long guys. And we needed Mike's size and strength to be able to win on some of those slants and some of those different balls. And so I think he's definitely improved on that, but that's not something that just comes natural for a lot of guys right out of high school. But that's where he's going to make his money at the next level.
I told Jordan, I said, I've always had this theory, nobody covers a tight end consistently in college football. And he said, you're right. He told me I was right, but he is a weapon. I mean,
they're covering him now.
But
maybe traditionally tight end can get lost, but I think everybody knows where 16 is on the field whenever we line up. But he again is a matchup issue sometimes for defenses, and we're just very fortunate that we've got several of those guys, and they can't really usually don't try to just take one of those guys away. They got to keep eyes on all of them, and then you got a great guy making into something. Deshaun is, for all the physical attributes he has, one of his best strengths, in my opinion, is his decision making. I mean, he does an excellent job of knowing where to go with the ball and putting the ball in the right spot at the right time. And I know he's excited about having guys like Leggett and Mike and Artavis and Renfro and all those guys out there.
And Artavis didn't entirely close the door on coming back. I mean, do you see that happening, or kind of what have you heard from him?
Yeah, it's not really something we talk about this time of year. It all kind of has its time and place. But I'm sure after the bowls and all that, he'll make his decision. But it's not really anything that we're discussing right now.
Which corner has given Mike the most problems in 3 years?
The problem is, you think this year.
Just this year.
Yeah. Because I'm saying I can't go back past this year because it's 2 years. We have real short memories as coaches too, so I can't really think.
Where does Lattimore stack up? I mean, is he someone who
Yeah.
you could see Ohio State just, hey, go get 7?